Hi, friends. Welcome. It's Luna. And, today we have something a little different than what we normally have. So, bear with me. And I I would say I apologize about the mm, background or viewing, but I'm sure everyone will make do. I just ask that you really listen to what I have to say today. Um, it's gonna start off with a little story, but I believe there is some sort of moral or a subject that someone really needs to hear. All right, so let's talk. So when I started tarot, I I grew up in a family who, at least a portion of it, veered me away from topics of that. They called it the occult or satanic behavior. And I think there is a level of discomfort that was within me. And this was, I knew, within religion itself, right? But for it to be in my vibration, right? I I've realized there's this subconscious and underlying fear, right? So when I came across, probably I would say 2 months ago, um, I was continuing my channel as normal. I was planning on creating a good schedule for uploading, and I'm really happy. I'm really happy when I do tarot. I feel so happy, right? But speaking of those family members, when I get constantly told things like it's satanic or demonic, or I'm doing things and I'm inviting in evil spirits and things like that, right? Your subconscious picks up on those things, especially when it's repeated over and over, anything repeated, right? So I stopped it because I had a it's good to question everything, right? I believe that. But in my opinion, after questioning all of that, I don't believe it's how religion puts it, at least in the fundamental way. And I realized if you're you're just gonna match to whatever vibration you're doing. And I explained this in how tarot works before, but it's all in vibration, right? And I came back to this conclusion, and I'm like, yes, but I need to work through this fear first before I continue to do this, because no matter what, when you're reading energy, there's always going to be a smear of your own perception unless you are able to differentiate. And if it's so subconscious like that, unless you're aware of it, you cannot differentiate it, right? So once I was aware of it and I could differentiate it, I then came to, is this still right for me, right? Now, this has happened over the past month, right? Of, is this right for me, and is tarot something I want to continue, which is also why I haven't been uploading. And as much as I do apologize on that, it was something I want to make sure everything is in alignment with me, right? And I'm never going to do anything that I have question of. And if God or spirit or source tells me not to continue something, or I feel uncomfortable with something, which is getting into my next point, there was an uncomfortability in my spirit that I knew had to be sorted out before I could continue. And at the time, that uncomfortability was my fear. It was my fear of what could happen and what I was doing, if it was correct or not. And it was also a fear of disappointing my own parents, right? Or even extended family at that. So with that being said, I realized I still had that uncomfortability after knowing that, right? And I'm still in the process of differentiating the very much subconscious and programmed fear that has been brought through a lot of my childhood and through religion itself in the way that I was brought up into it. It wasn't horrible, but it definitely wasn't something that was all loving that I would be something I would want to teach to others, right? And I realize there's still something that kind of puts me off. And that's why at the moment I really want to discuss two things. One that I want to get out of the way is kind of the obvious, is I'm not too sure that I will be continuing tarot at the moment. It's going to be a no-go for me, and I do not plan on continuing tarot content. I haven't been watching tarot, I haven't been participating in any of it at the moment, and I really believe this is because Spirit is guiding me to feeling vibrations through my own being and to not be looking for external validation so much. I really feel like it's more so in the sense of Spirit's asking me to look within more so than to feel. So tarot only confirms everything that you know, but if you feel unsure of yourself, but you feel something in your spirit, right? And then you go to tarot looking for something to give you that confirmation. How are you really gonna know if you don't have that, right? When you come to the point where tarot is no longer available to you, right? What are you going to do in a circumstance? Are you going to trust your intuition, or are you going to question it and be like, "Ooh, I wish I had my deck," right? For external validation. And I feel like at this point in my life, I knew it would come to the point where external validation in any sort of point, including tarot, right? Because you're reading the energy of the cards. We can do this through just feeling our own vibration. That's what some of the best tarot readers do. And I love watching them and hearing how they do it and practicing on my own. But I'm realizing there's an evolutionary state, at least in my timeline or my consciousness, if you want to call it that, that I'm no longer at this moment, and we can always go back to things, and it doesn't mean that's wrong, but it may be in alignment with us at another time for another reason. But at this moment in time, I can just say that it is not in alignment with me. So with that being said, I will not be continuing tarot. I will be continuing uploading, and it will be more so, I don't know if I want to call them channeled messages, but just messages from the universe that is through me, like this body, I should say, because all of us is each other, you know. Anyways, I'm rambling at this point. I think you get my point, that we can evolve to different states, but I just want you guys to know that I will be continuing content that is still loving and light, and that's what I want to kind of emphasize, is we can express things in different ways, and the vibration may not change like truth, but truth can show up in physical ways, many different ways, if that makes sense. So saying this and getting that out of the way, I want to make kind of my last final point, if I could call it my final point, I guess, is that I really made this video and to share with you guys, because I feel it had a message, right? Besides just sharing that a content change will be made, it's much more than that. It's, if you feel something uncomfortable in your spirit, and as much as things may be uncomfortable, it's a pivotal time. And pivotal times, of course, equal change, but change is evolution for the better. Even if it hurts in the moment, or it may feel like a negative thing, or maybe a negative influence is in your life, if it can have a positive influence in the long run. And I feel like that's just really important to really state and to value your own intuition, that if something doesn't feel right, you need to look into it, right? There's always something to be made and something to be said and something to be learned from. I don't really think there's much of anything that I really want to say besides, even if it hurts, like this tarot thing is very uncomfortable for me. I love my decks. I love everything. Like, I love decks as I would love a stuffed animal, as I would love a human, right? Although the depth and things like that of personality may not be in inanimate objects, it's still that appreciation for it. And I guess there was an attachment to these decks as well that I'm dealing with, and that's what a lot of I feel like a lot of you guys, or just people in general, will relate to, that they don't want to leave things because it's comfortable or they're attached to it. And I realize that true love is not attachment. And as much as I do appreciate and love those decks and find such beauty in their imagery, or the what their meanings behind them may be, I'm realizing none of it's external, it's all within. And I'm just realizing that in a much more deeper and more integrated state. So I share this message with you, and I think I will leave it at that. Trust yourself no matter how uncomfortable that truth may be and how hard it may be to find it within you. But just know and trust and continue to affirm to yourself that you will know, and you already do know. And just sit with that feeling that you already know, because you do, and it will come in time. Time is just a construct. We're just simply vibrational matches to different things. Little frequency stations. It's great, isn't it? So, I love you all, truly, from the bottom of my heart, and I thank you so much for sitting and sharing this moment in time with me. I pray nothing but light, love, and blessings fall over you from from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. So, have an amazing day or night whenever you're watching this. I love you.